expect that this is gonna dominate the discussion.
Go ahead, JJ.
Can you comment on the report that a U.S. Patriot battery system may have been damaged in Ukraine in the latest Russian missile barrage?
I cannot, no.
So you can't say whether, so if it were damaged, would the Ukrainians be able to repair it on their own, or would the U.S. have to?
First of all, I can't confirm the reports, but you know, it would depend on the scope of the damage as to whether or not it could be repaired by the Ukrainians or whether we might need to help them. I think you know that even particularly in howitzers, oftentimes when we gave howitzers an artillery piece, firing artillery around, and many of them have been damaged in the fighting or just worn out by the fighting, and some were able to be repaired on site. Some we assisted the Ukrainians with repairs outside Ukraine. I just can't speak to this, but obviously if there was damage done to a Patriot system that needed to be repaired outside Ukraine, we would certainly assist with that. I just can't confirm it.
The video that the U.S. has released asking Russian intelligence to share its secrets with the United States, why now? Why would any Russian share that kind of information? And what assurances, safety assurances, is the U.S. offering?
You're talking about the video that the CIA released. It's not uncommon for them to do this, for one thing. They look for recruits, same as the U.S. Navy does. And so it's not uncommon for them to use video as an opportunity to see if they can encourage others to help them out. I'd refer you to CIA to speak to the efficacy of that process and that program, but it's not atypical for them to do that. And frankly, it'd be irresponsible if they weren't doing that.
Are you offering safety assurances, though? I mean, why would
I'd refer you to the CIA to speak to the details of the program.
Very much hoping that the U.S. will resume joining the TPP. Has there been any thought of that coming up?
I don't have anything on the agenda with respect to TPP to speak to.
This time, will you have a little chance to visit Japan? Last time you didn't get to get out of the hotel room.
Me? Are you going to visit Japan,
I
Corinne?
mean, yeah, hopefully, we'll see. We'll be busy, we'll be very busy. Okay, we have to wrap this up. Anita, you have the last question.
Thank you so much, John. First of all, we just heard South African President Cyril Ramaphosa say that both President Zelensky and Putin have agreed to 6-party talks with African leaders aimed at hammering out a peace deal. Just wondering how the White House feels about
Peace
this
deal
in Ukraine.
Yeah, look, I'll say what I've said before. We would welcome any credible peace proposal put forward, even by a third party or third parties. Hang on, let me finish.
Our forces is in Russia right now.
Let me finish. We would support any third-party peace proposal as long as it can be seen as credible, enforceable, and sustainable. And for those three things to be the case, it's got to be supported by President Zelensky and the Ukrainian people. Nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine. I've said it a million times. We'll keep saying it. We're not poo-pooing other peace proposal opportunities as long as they can be credible and sustainable and enforceable. And again, that means that the Ukrainians have to be 100% behind it. And it has to start with Ukrainian perspectives. It has to start with the UN Charter being a foundational element. And it has to start with President Zelensky's support and his 10-point proposal, at least